How's it going? It's Nathan Hawken. Welcome to the video. So the biggest threat to your impact and your legacy and all the things that you want to achieve, it's not burnout. It's the story that says, not yet. We tell ourselves, once I hire the right people, once I finish the strategy, or once I finish my business plan, once I feel fully ready, then I'll lead differently, then I'll show up differently, then I'll launch, then I'll be able to coach better, then I'll be a better human being. But here's the truth. You're just waiting. You're stalling. You're stalling the impact that you can make. You're stalling the legacy you want to leave. You're stalling the goals that you want to achieve. The difference between those who scale their impact, who achieve, and the ones who stay stuck are the ones who decide to move before things are perfect. Your impact doesn't start when you feel ready. It doesn't start when all the ducks are aligned. It starts today, and it starts small. If you don't know me already, my name is Nathan Hawken. I have been coaching for over a decade now, and I've been working with high-performing leaders, business executives, Olympic athletes, other coaches, business owners, and something I come across very, very often in my coaching conversations is that procrastination, that stalling, that waiting for the right time or to feel good, to feel right before I take the next action or I start working towards a goal. It's a pattern where people will confuse preparation with progress. They will confuse what actually needs to be done with what they're actually doing now. Because we think like more preparation equals more certainty, equals better results. But what actually happens is we spiral, we hesitate, and we quietly lose time, we lose confidence, and we lose energy. And I know this from my own experience. Like, there's been so many times where I've procrastinated or I've just prepared. Like, the number of times I've tried to, in the past, plan out my week as opposed to just getting things done. So when a Monday comes and I'm planning out my week, I'm organizing my life, when I need to be working on the goals and on the tasks. All right, this is where we spiral. This is a hesitation. And I've looked back to myself and I've noticed the number of times where I've been doing that. I'm like, dude, how much time have you just wasted because you weren't actually working on the thing that you need to work on? Let's be brutally honest. Okay, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. How long have you been getting ready? How long have you been getting ready, waiting for things to line up, waiting for whatever it is to really take that next step, to start your coaching business, start any business, to go for that promotion, to challenge yourself, to push beyond? How long have you actually been getting ready and just waiting? If someone came in and looked at your actions over this past week or this past month, not at your vision board and the things that you're looking to achieve, not at your planner or anything like that, if they were looking at the actual the actions and the tasks that you have done over the last how long, what would they say your priorities are? And if you're being honest with yourself, what would you say your priorities were? Not what you think they should be or what they actually are. What are they actually based on the work that you've already done? Because impact does not wait for certainty. Your legacy does not wait for certainty. The goals that you want to achieve, they do not wait for certainty. They respond to alignment. So how do you get to alignment? How do you actually start to move towards those things that you want and reprioritize the things in your life and take the actions that you need to take? So let's go through a framework that you can use to help you help you reprioritize your things, your life, your actions. When you've gone through that exercise and you're being brutally honest with yourself, you're like, you know what? This is what it looks like my priorities are, but this is what they really are. Let's go through a bit of a framework to help you start getting back on track and align yourself with what you're really trying to achieve. Call it the impact compounding model. Because the most successful leaders, the people out there who you see are achieving a lot and a lot frequently, they're not the ones with the perfect plan. Right? Plans can go out the window really, really quick, and a lot of flexibility needs to happen when you're trying to create a massive impact, a legacy, and you've got goals that you want to achieve. So they're not the ones with the perfect plan. They're the ones which are taking aligned action, and they're taking it very quickly and repetitively, over and over. Because action compounds. Imperfect action compounds. As long as you're actually taking action, that is going to be compounding. Whether it's imperfect, whether it's perfect, or it's something in between. It's compounding over time. Whereas delayed action will decay. It falls apart. The longer you wait, the harder it is. And the less energy you're going to be able to bring into it. So understand that The action that you're taking is compounding over time. But the point is to be taking the action, whether it's going to be the best action in the world and perfect, or it's going to be imperfect and it's not up to the standard that you want at the moment. The point is to be taking the action. You can ask yourself, bring it down to what's going on with you today. What can I ship today? What can I start today? What conversation can I have today? Who will I reach out to today? What small risk will create new data for my own growth? What can I do? What can I learn? Ask yourself these questions, because that's the very start. That's the beginning. That's the first step in anything. You have to ask yourself these questions. Well, what do I need to do? What small step can I take today? Because tomorrow then you can replicate it or you can double it. But it starts with what you can do today. Who can you reach out to? Who are you going to call? Then we have to think about alignment over anxiety. Anxious action looks busy, but it's rooted in fear. Anxiety is a fear. It's a fear of the future. It's a fear of making a mistake and all these type of things. A really good example of that, and I've had this conversation with many people, it's the fear of picking up the phone and making a cold call to a potential client. You know, whether it's for sales or whether it's just a general information gathering conversation. But it takes them so long to pick up the phone, dial the number, and have that call that they miss out on doing so much more because they're rooted in fear. And that anxious action, that can look busy, right? That anxious preparation of your desk, moving things around, feng shuiing your room, whatever it is you're doing, this is anxious action. And this looks busy, but it's rooted in fear. It's actually stopping you and you're pausing. Whereas aligned action might be quieter. It doesn't feel like you're doing much, but it moves the needle faster. That aligned action has more of a flow to it. And you're pushing beyond that fear, that anxious fear, and you're doing the thing which actually matters rather than doing the 10 things which don't matter and don't progress you. So think about the actions that you want to take and you ask yourself, does this action reflect who I am becoming, or am I doing it to prove something? This is a powerful question, because if you're taking actions, which is all about just proving something to someone, then that's not going to be good for you. But if the actions you're taking are a direct reflection of who you're becoming, how powerful is that? So ask yourself that question. Does this action reflect who I'm becoming, or am I doing it to prove something? Because you're not waiting on strategy or things to be perfect. You're waiting on self-permission. Self-permission to take that next step. Self-permission to go a little bit beyond, to grow, to push yourself. Self-permission to just do. Then let's look at the presence over potential. Now, potential is a very flattering illusion, right? You got a lot of people out there talking about your potential, and it is important, and we do have that potential, but it can be a very flattering illusion to a lot of people. Whereas presence is an amplifier to your leadership, to your goals, to what you're doing with your clients. Presence outweighs potential any day of the week. Because the more you show up now, doesn't matter if it's in a small way or a big way, the more you show up, the more others will start to trust you with the bigger stages, the bigger steps, the bigger things you're working on. You'll start to trust yourself with the bigger roles and the bigger decisions that you make. Your clients will trust you because you're showing up powerfully every day to work with them, to serve them. Because no one follows a leader or works with a coach or does business with people who are pushing things off Sunday. If you were to go into a business and you ask them for a service and they said, yeah, someday I'll do it, no one's going to want that. No one's going to want to follow a leader who's always pushing and hides behind that someday approach. They follow someone who moves now. They follow someone who moves with conviction, with clarity, and with purpose. To bring this all around, I want you to consider that the real risk isn't failing in what you're doing. The risk is not about messing it up or failing or anything like that. The real risk is waiting so long that your message gets stale and your impact window closes. Imagine having this idea for a business, or maybe you want to become a coach and you want to get out there and start working with people, but you get so gripped by fear of failing, for not being enough, that you wait so long that it becomes too late. That, I don't know, maybe your priorities change and you can't do it anymore. Maybe you get stale. Maybe your energy just drops and you just don't have that same capacity for it anymore. Because it's not about failing. The real failure comes when you don't do the action, when you don't do the work, when you're not taking the steps. But when you're waiting, you're putting something off which may now never happen. And for me, that's the biggest tragedy. So to get around this, to get around that fear of failure, to get around things just going stale and you're losing your window, think of yourself as this. You're not someone who waits. Reframe it to yourself. I'm not someone who waits. I'm someone who leads now. I'm someone who takes action now. Regardless of how I feel, regardless of what's going on, I'm taking action now. That is who I am. That's how I operate. Will it be hard? Yes, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you don't need a perfect plan. You need presence. You need purpose. And you need one small move. I've spoken about it so many times in a lot of my videos and with my clients. It's not about the 1,000 steps in front of you. It's about the one step that you take today and the next step you're going to take tomorrow. Those lead to 1,000 steps eventually. Just remember this. Leadership, your business, your passion, your purpose, it's never later. It's always today and it's always now. So here's your challenge. What is one aligned action you're taking today that's going to move you forward? Doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small. And it's not, yes, I'm going to take this action today, or I'm going to take it next week or next month. What is one action you're taking today, right now, if possible, that's going to move you forward? Leave it in the comments because I would love to hear what you're doing today. And thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you watching it all the way through to the end. If you like my content and you want to help me reach more people, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the notifications so I can spread this message to more people and ideally help serve more people at a deeper level. Thank you again. Feel free to reach out anytime. I'll see you in the next one.